Oh, hello, and welcome to our Eurovision special. This is our third time discussing all things Eurovision Song Contest. This is 2023, and it's been held in my country, the UK, because we came second to Ukraine last year with Sam Ryder doing very well for us for a change. So, in this episode, we shall be discussing our favourite tracks and our least favourite tracks we've heard. So yeah, me and Babs have listened to all of the songs and we are excited to be sharing our thoughts with you. We have a few surprise guests dropping in via telephone for your listening pleasure. It's crazy how into Eurovision I've become. I've been watching far too many YouTube clips and looking at the stats. So yeah, I guess I have to thank this podcast for turning me into a Euro song file, or some term I've not heard before. As always, due to copyright reasons, we don't have any of the music in the show, so please check out our Spotify playlist we've included in the show notes and you can see what we're going to be talking about before you hit play. So let's get on with the show.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, what are we calling this podcast?
Was it over underrated?
Over underrated. Sous-évalué. Überschätzt. Överunderskattad. Over underrated.
Hello UK, this is Brussels calling. How are things over there with the show?
This is Bournemouth calling from the UK. We are excited, and I am drinking a smoothie, which is probably from Europe.
What flavours?
It is Swedish strawberry and the Belgian banana.
The classics.
With no added sugar.
Yeah, well, that's not European, is it? That's from elsewhere. I am not drinking a particular European drink, but I guess it is sort of in honour of our previous Eurovision guest, Paula. I am drinking Curacao, which is this orange liqueur, triple sec, that kind of thing, with some ice cubes, which might make some sound at the beginning. But yeah, it's this very, very nice bottle that I resisted opening for absolutely ages. And then I was like, oh, Paula's actually visiting this weekend. Maybe I'll just open it and drink a bit, and I have now consumed more of it than I would have thought. So, sorry, liver, sorry, dad. There will still be some when you get here.
That sounds like an opening lyric. Sorry, liver. Sorry, father. I ran out of words.
Hey, listen.
It's a hit.
That's better than a lot of intros this year. Well, when Fran and Babs enter as, the UK, Portugal, Belgium, who knows? We can write a song. One of the songs we're going to talk about today is, two singer-songwriters coming together. So who knows, Fran? We've got a future in us. My father, my liver, at a Eurovision near you. But yes, this is our annual special for Eurovision. We've sent each other the playlists, and we don't know which category they fall under. So Fran and I know that there are songs on both of our playlists that have swapped over, but they might be on one person's overrated list and the other person's underrated list. So we're going to go through the songs that are individually on each other's lists and then the songs that overlap. That is, in a very convoluted way, the structure for today.
How exciting. We are so excited to find out which songs we hate, which songs we love.
Exactly.
Yep, I did my weekend task of listening to 37 songs, making shortlists. I can reveal that my songs I liked shortlist was 9, and the songs I thought was shit was 12. So I think it's not been a classic year for Eurovision. I think last year had a few more bangers, but this year it was a struggle to even pick 5 I actually kind of liked. So yeah, how about you? Do you think there's some fantastic tunes this year, or?
No, I agree with you that it's a poorer year than 2021 or 2022. I would say there are a few songs that I really like, maybe like 3 of them, of the 5 I really like. Then for the other 2, I had a short list of maybe 4 or 5 to pick from, and I had to think about it. And I was glad that you picked one of them that was on my overrated shortlist and then I cut, so we can still underrated list, sorry, and we can still talk about it. But yeah, the way I did it, so I think we had slightly different strategies. I listened to the song once without knowing the country or the person. I then found out the country and the person and then watched it live. And I found that most of the songs were in the middle category for me. I actually didn't actively hate that many songs. It was in a way a bit more difficult to make the overrated playlist because I'm like, there's a lot of middling, forgettable songs, but I found it difficult to hate any of them. But yeah, I think there's only, for the moment, I would say 3 that are truly memorable.
I think, for me, if it was boring or annoying, it went on my bad list.
Yeah.
And and there's quite a few quite annoying. There's also quite a lot of forgettable ones. Like, looking through the ones I haven't picked, I probably heard them more than 3 times. And I still can't remember what the song is.
Yeah,
doesn't look great. Yeah, I tend to not want to know the countries so that I'm not biased. So yeah, I listened to it 2 or 3 times just on the Spotify playlist, and then when I see it live, it's the first time I find out what country they're from, and it's interesting.
How often did you guess? Because I mean, some it's easier to guess than others, obviously.
The one from Australia, I did not know was Australian. I put down there, this is like Northern Europe. It's like Czech Republic or something. I was like, fuck me. Yeah, so yeah, it's not, obviously you can guess like France quite easily and Italy, but yeah, a lot of them, if they sing in English, they've got a slight accent. It could be many countries.
Or if it's a Slavic language, you're like, okay, it's a Slavic language, but which one? Is it Slovenia? Is it Moldova? So yeah, I do understand that. Yeah, I think I guessed fairly well because even some of them, so the Serbian one, which we're going to talk about, I guessed it was Serbian from the vibe because I was like, this sounds pretty similar in vibe to the Serbian entry last year. I wonder if it is Serbian.
Washing one.
The hand washing was last year, yeah. And I was like, oh, correct. Even though I saw the title and it was a language I didn't understand. I was like, it looks like Italian, but I don't think it is. But yeah, it's a fun exercise as always, and yeah, it's been fun to kind of debate with friends. And before we get into it, I've been trying to make this song go viral because I think it's amazing. This New Zealand comedy duo called Two Hearts have done a parody song called Eurovision, Open Up, where they're trying to make the case for Eurovision, New Zealand being in Eurovision, and I think you should all check it out. I think that's my song of the year, to be honest. I think I'd pick that over any others. And I also really enjoyed listening to the Illusionist podcast, Eurovision two-parter. Some things I knew, some things I didn't, but yeah, it's a lot about the language and the politics. Some things that we mentioned before, like the Italian referendum on divorce, causing Italy not broadcast a song, which you mentioned on the podcast a few years ago. Very, very interesting if you're not just interested in the music and the songs.
And you still don't have Luxembourg as well.
When will we have Luxembourg? It's really sad. If you want a small country to cheer for, you can cling on to San Marino. The person I thought San Marino this year, bland.
Yeah, it was a bit. Is it Maneskin? I can't even pronounce it.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like, okay, the rock music is. Do you know? Because I had a lot of conversations about Eurovision this weekend. We were listening to "Wake Me Up" by Evanescence, and I said the sentence like, "Oh, this could be a Eurovision song," and I was like, "God, like this is how much things have changed." Imagine saying 15 years ago, "Oh yeah, this could be a Eurovision song," but it's like rock, pop, epic.
Hello, my name is Tena. I'm a freelance content marketing and consultation specialist based in Brussels. And I am very, very, very excited about this year's Eurovision. I grew up in Croatia, in a small town, and some of my fondest memories are all around Eurovision. It used to be quite a big thing when I was growing up. Like, I would always watch it with my family, or we would even gather around like in neighborhood and then make like a barbecue if it was warm enough. So it was always lots of fun, and I just remember being amazed by all these extravagant outfits and scenes, and songs were quite fun. And then I haven't watched it in a couple of years because I don't know, it kind of became a bit boring, and then I picked it up a couple of years ago, really got again into it. But to be honest, the Croatian songs were always kind of meh at at its best. And then this year, we have quite an exciting entry. It's a band that has always been known for being weird and provocative and quite political, and I always liked them for that. And I love their song. It doesn't make much sense, and I think that's kind of the beauty of it. It's very flashy, it's weird, in other words, it's very Eurovision. And I'm not sure if we're gonna win, but I think it's going to do quite well, and that's what excites me. Because for years Croatia had these songs that were very generic and poppy, and they were trying to imitate whatever they thought was trendy, and it didn't work. And now Let's 3 and their song quite authentic, and I don't know, they're just being themselves. And I think that's exactly what works on Eurovision. So I'm quite excited.
I've got some overall notes of what I think of the songs this year. So I think too many songs are throwing too many things into a song. Like when it works well, it's great, but a lot of it's just like, let's have all the different layers of synths and all the different types of singing, from whispering to shouting to howl to that. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I think a lot of the time it doesn't. I thought there were lots of ballroom dancers included in some performances. So Portugal and Finland have ballroom dancers, and I was thinking like, that hasn't been done very much. Definitely enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that there's not one but two men with nose rings. Shout out with Finland and Cyprus. That's a personal preference. That's for me.
I have not noticed any face jewelry.
I do like a man with a nose ring. I don't know why. Right in. And I wondered, Fran, because when I went onto YouTube to look at the versions, a lot of songs had acoustic versions.
Yeah,
of the songs. Did you watch any of those? Or...
Yeah, I have seen the Irish one. I have seen the Georgian one. And I have seen the Lithuanian one. So, but so
I'm guessing we'll talk about them when we talk about.
Yeah, because last year Greece, the acoustic one, I thought was a lot better than the studio version. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you can show people that you can sing stripped down, because that is one problem we have. There's a few of these I've not seen the live performance, so I don't
really
know.
Because it's not available yet.
Yeah. I mean, it's for Austria, for example, and quite a few other big ones. So I've only seen some like camcorder footage. I say camcorder footage as if it's 1997. Some mobile phone,
some
footage.
home recorded.
But yeah, so you can't really go from that. So it'd be interesting to know how well they can do on the grand final. But should we also mention that they've changed the rules this year, haven't they, for the semi-final?
Have they? Oh, I didn't know about this. Tell me.
Yeah, for the first time, there's no judge vote in the semi-final. It's only the public. So therefore, people think that some of the slower ones may not get through because they'll be forgettable.
I will say, I think the few ballads there are of a much higher quality than normal this year.
Well, I don't have. Well, no, I guess I've got a couple of slow songs, maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if they're overrated.
But I'm thinking of like the French entry last year. That was like a proper like cabaret ballad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, that is good. Like, I wonder if it shouldn't just be public voting.
Yeah, but sometimes the public get it wrong. Sadly, so who knows?
Well, let's see. Well, let's get into it, right?
Okay.
Overrated.
My first pick is Malta with the band Babić with the song Dance, in brackets, Our Own Party, close brackets. Last year, Malta was one of the favourites, was it? It was like a...
Je me casse.
Yep.
Was that last year? I can't remember anymore.
So this year, do you guys remember Latvian's entry with the I Don't Eat Pussy?
I mean, of course I remember, Fran.
But if you only watched the final, you may not have seen that beauty, unfortunately. So if you've heard this podcast before, you may realise that I'm not a big fan of the horns. And this has some horns. Hello, a lot of horns. And it's wacky. He's wearing a party hat and a jumper. And it's fucking annoying. But I learned last year, apparently funk disco is kind of a big thing in Europe.
In Europe?
Well, in mainland Europe, like from Iceland and a few other countries last year. So I think this is jumping on board that. Yeah, it's It's a bit too wacky. It's quite annoying. It doesn't slay, which is the buzzword for Eurovision. But watching a lot of...
Are we going to do slay or nay?
Yeah, slay or nay, definitely slay or nay. But looking at comments, people fucking love this, and I'm like, what? But I have written down the current odds, and it is the 33rd. So hopefully it will not be getting to the final. What's your thoughts?
I wrote notes for every single song that I listened to, just to have as a kind of reference point, and I didn't know that you picked this. And one of my first notes was, does Fran like the sax? And I think you have answered that question, because I thought, this is very sax heavy. I don't think Fran's going to like it. I thought it was fine, but then seeing it staged, I enjoyed it so much more, because I think it is one of the best stagings in the competition, because it's really like a story. They're in a party, you see them go to different places, he changes outfits. It's quite charming, I thought. So I had it like very firmly in my middle category, because I thought, I didn't hate it, but I didn't particularly dislike it. But I thought the staging was really good, and I think if they keep that up, it might do well on the day.
Apparently Malta say they are at a disadvantage because they have no neighbours.
I mean, this is going back to the tactical voting malarkey. I mean, I don't know. Well, if it's public voting, will the neighbours still vote in the semi-finals? I don't know. We'll have to see.
So can you choose your first overrated choice?
So my first overrated pick is We Are One by Wild Youth, the Irish entry. So I hated this from the beginning. It continued hating it as the anthemicness bounded up. I think it might be my least favourite of all the songs, because I don't know. I think maybe you'll see this on some of my other selections, but I prefer bland pop to bad rock, I think is my general feeling here. I wrote that this is like the worst of Irish boy bands mixed with the worst U2. And the only live performance that I saw was their Late Show performance.
Yeah.
And apart from the sequins, which will make them very shiny, they are some very happy lads. And sorry to be a cynic, but it just made me dislike them even more. I was just like, what are you so happy about? What are you so happy about? And then you look at the lyrics, and they seem quite bland. We might be different. We might be unique. You might be a leader. I might be a freak. And we might be different. But under the falling sun, tonight we are one. I don't know. Like, I see what they're trying to do, the whole Europe unite, blah, blah, blah. But I don't feel like their heart is in it. But I will say I saw this literally hours before coming on here. Kudos to them, because their creative director just got fired for making transphobic and anti-vax remarks. And they've really been like, we have parted ways. It is unacceptable. So they've really kind of been like, right, we're doing it. And I'm like, to do that so close to Eurovision? Good for them. So nice boys. Sorry about the music.
Did you see the music video?
I did not see the music video. What is it even more anthemic?
It doesn't make sense. It's 4 of them in a white room wearing like metal sort of like sock masks the entire song, so you can't even see their face.
Right.
And that's
Are they trying to be the Australian guy from last week?
I don't. It's like he's quite a charismatic, handsome man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a selling point. But yeah, like it's fucking weird. So when I did my first shortlist, this made it onto my shortlist, but because I think it was just so obviously melodic, it just popped in my head instantly. So I thought, okay. And then when I scratched the surface, I then thought, oh no, this is like one part. Do you remember Fun?
Yep.
We are young. And it sounds like that mixed with, I sent it earlier, that U2 DJ 2022 Euro
Martin
anthem.
Garrix. I did not hear that song.
I heard it live.
What the fuck?
It played it before every single football game. And it's those combined.
That's good.
It's good. happy. But I don't hate it. It's just all too obvious. Like, it's just, okay, it's the happy guys playing the piano, singing about uniting and punching the air. It's like, okay, Ireland. But you'll be happy to know that it is the 25th. So people are saying it may only just scrape through. And considering at one point Ireland were like, killing it or slaying it. I'm surprised how bad they've been, because they didn't make it. Maybe last year or the year before as well.
There was Brooke last year who was great, but did she make it? Maybe she didn't. If you like memes and you like fun, there's a YouTube account called SEZI at CEZZI, who all they've done is make 4 videos, which is 2 different parts of Eurovision 2022 being a chaotic mess, and Eurovision 2023 being a chaotic mess, and Brooke last year really, like, you know, broke a lot of body parts and had a lot of fun.
Oh,
So,
why not? You know, it might be your only chance of to have stardom, so why not go for it?
exactly, yeah.
Hey, it's Paula from the Divine Comedians podcast. I mean, it's a catchy enough song. It's all right. But basically, it just sounds like U2. The guitars are all U2. I think basically if you put Bono's vocals over the top of it, it'd be a U2 song. Not for me, to be honest.
Underrated.
My first track that I liked, which is on Bab's list, is the Lithuanian entry, which is Monica, and now try to pronounce the surname.
Linkite?
Yes, go for that. And yeah, I just think this is a great vocal. Yeah, this mixes English with Lithuanian, which happens a few times, mixing the native and English on a few songs. It's got a decent riff. It's got great harmonies with the backing singers, and if you watch it live, she even gets the backing singers to come front of stage. And apparently in her first semi-final that didn't happen, as she felt empty, so now she wants to be surrounded by her singers, and they do beautiful harmonies. It doesn't have a big grandstanding feel, so I don't know if it will stand out enough, because this is definitely a song that I liked after maybe 3 or 4 listens, so I fear that it may not get through the semi-final because it's just a bit too polite. The bookies have it down to be the 29th, so they think it won't make it. It's just sad. I think it's quite a beautiful song. What's your thoughts?
So, did you know that Monica was previously in Eurovision in 2015 with another guy, Vidas Baumiller, and they had an absolutely terrible song. It was really bad. It was like the typical, like the Azerbaijan 2012 entry that we talked about with my dad. It's like, you know, when they get a man and a woman who have no chemistry and sing together, you're like, why do you do this? So this is definitely much better from Monica. But this song, I went through all the emotions with it, because the first time I heard it, I was like, oh God, this is so boring. This is so dull. And then when I saw the staging, I think this song, along with maybe Belgium, my opinion changed the most when I saw it live, because it is so much more moving live, especially as you say with the singers. And then when you look into it, like the fact that they repeat "tuto e tuto," it's this phrase used in religious rituals when people would stand in a circle and sing traditional folk songs. So it's all about kind of like Lithuanian traditions. Monica says that it's about a call to hear your inner self from your heart. And I don't know if you noticed, but she's dressed in amber and has amber earrings. And that is, I think, like the stone of Lithuania as well. So it's all very, very meaningful and lovely. But even before knowing all that, when I saw the singing and the harmonies, I was like, oh, hang on, this definitely deserves more listens. And I totally agree with you. It needs several listens for you to get into it. And that also makes me worry that it's going to make it.
Think she has some previous fans who hope? No, maybe not.
Well, isn't it like
it came 18th, so maybe not.
But it is fun to go and watch the old songs and then see the recent YouTube comments of like, oh, welcome back. You know, so happy to see you.
It's the third time I've had someone called Monica in the past 10 years.
Yes, there were a lot of jokes about that.
It's a popular name. So what's your next choice?
So which one should I pick? Let's go for Australia. So I've promised by Voyager. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying the beginning, but I'm wondering how this is going to develop and how the chorus would drop. Basically, as the song went on, it took me, I didn't expect guitars. I didn't expect the singer to have such a vocal range. Looking them up afterwards, they're meant to be progressive metal. I thought, you know, is progressive metal this electronic? The O's of the song reminded me now of the New Zealand parody of the OEs. But I think it builds and builds and builds, and it's such an epic climactic final. Like it. So this was the last song that I heard. And because I knew the countries, because I'd gone, I was like, I'm guessing this is going to be the Australian one because we haven't had Australia yet. And before I'd even seen the live version, I was like, well, this is going on my underrated list, like immediately. You know, I had a few others that were maybes. I thought this was really original, kind of, let's say, a more unexpected Eurovision entry, but maybe less these days now that rock plays more of a role. And yeah, from a band that's released 7 full-length albums, and I'm sure this fits into their canon. Yeah, lovely to see.
They came second last year in the audition. try to enter it. Yeah, for me, this was on my liked shortlist, but I think the more I hear it, the more I dislike it.
Oh, really?
Certain bits that annoy me, like how he says "touch," how he goes up on that touch. It makes
That
me
sounded
cringe.
like "touch me" from Halfran.
Yeah, I mean, the video looks like a joke band. It's like a guitar and lots of like roaring happening. It's
I
like
haven't seen the video. I saw
okay.
a live performance somewhere.
But when you mentioned for kitchen sink production, this to me has a bit of that. It's I think too many things going on. It's like 80s pop, then it's got like rock,
but here
then it's got
I understand. For me, here it works because I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled by the fact that it changes. Whereas sometimes when too many things are thrown at you're like, well, that doesn't fit together. That doesn't make sense. But interesting that you say the more you hear it, the less you like it.
I enjoyed the YouTube comment we put. It's nice to hear.
I think I know which one you're going to say. Yeah. So what did you? Yeah, you say it.
Yeah, it's not. Someone put down. It's nice to hear country sing in their native language.
Yeah.
And then everyone dived on him. I say him. I mean, it probably is a man. But yeah, that was quite funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed the person being like, well, I wonder if the Aboriginal Australians would have something to say about that. Again, calling back to the New Zealand parody, talking about the colonisers. Very funny.
Overrated.
So my second overrated pick is Poland, who I think are having a mare, because I think they're for my 21 and 22 poor list as well.
Oh, right,
This is the
okay.
first time I don't hate Poland, but please try harder. This is Blanka with the song Solo, and yeah, I've heard it on Spotify, but when I watched it live, and when you watch it live, fuck me, does it dive? It sounds like karaoke. It's seriously, it's the poorest finest vocal I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's got,
ever no, but
well,
yeah.
I'm obviously since I've been watching it properly, and yeah, okay, it's catchy, but yeah, I mean, someone said this could be on a Paris Hilton album, and I agree. It does have that level of like speech singing when you don't have to have much talent to get away with it. Apparently, Poland are not happy because apparently they last minute changed the rules, and the song that the nation voted for was moved to the side to let Blanka go to the top, and people are saying, "Hang on, what's happening?" And apparently, Blanka was also slagging off some of the other entries.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and then quickly deleted it. And people think that she's also got a link to some of the judges, which is also
she's friends with the juror's son.
There we go.
And I think one of the jurors is her choreographer. Something like that. Something really dodgy.
Didn't the other band get like 100,000 votes and she got like 6,000 something initially before they changed it?
I didn't see that, but that wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, what I did see, so I saw before we come to the song on the controversy. So only today did I see that apparently they published so this is a controversy with the Poland broadcaster TVP. Apparently they published the article saying that she had won before the vote had come through.
Oh.
And then like changed the time. Because so musically, right? This was on my shortlist for bad when I first heard it, right? But I don't mind the beach lounge percussion vibes. I don't mind her saying down, diggy, down, down. When I saw the live version, I was like, oh dear, like vocally she's very bad. But I did enjoy the kind of Essex girl outfits that her backing dancers have. So I was like, do you know what? Like there's enough enjoyable stuff going on that I don't mind so much. But so I'd had all those thoughts, and then I scrolled to look at the YouTube comments, and I was like, oh wow, like they're pretty negative. They're pretty negative about her. They're just like slay girl, give no energy kind of thing. And I was like, well, usually it's quite positive. And then I saw all the comments from the disgruntled Polish people being like, we didn't pick the song, our broadcaster didn't show the full result for every contestant, we don't know how Blanka won because the juries didn't say anything about the points, they just says who gets what place and nothing else, we want transparency. And I mean, don't know how much you know about Polish politics, but it has a very conservative party in power that's banned abortion, and that wanted to change I think they wanted to fire some judges, change the rule of law. I'm sorry, Poland, I should know more, and like cause this massive backlash. So it wouldn't surprise me if the broadcast is doing dodgy things. But yeah, I mean, it's really funny how if you look at her Wikipedia page, like, yeah, there's stuff about like she wrote her first song at 13, but it's like, it basically sounds like her mom was a model, she wanted to be a model, but she wanted to write songs, they encouraged her. It just really sounds like Nepo baby, to use the current term, vibes. And then it's really funny because when you Google like Poland controversy, it's quite difficult to find things, and there's a few kind of English language Polish things which are quite defensive about it. But yeah, you had to go on like Reddit and find testimony people. So it's kind of wild that this is still happening in 2023. Although yeah, we shouldn't be surprised.
So moving on to your next pick.
Now, Fran, we hit a rocky patch because every single one of my overrated songs is on your list. So I'm gonna have to guess if it's one that you found overrated or not. Okay, so I'm gonna guess that you might have picked Italy as overrated.
I did indeed.
Oh, okay, good. Right. So Due Vite by Marco Mengoni. So he won the 3rd season of Italian X Factor. I almost, if I'd had the patience and time, again talking about stats, how many contestants have participated or won The Voice? I mean, there's like The Voice and then there's other contests. But yeah, he's previously represented Italy with a very boring song called L'Essenziale in 2013. I went down a whole YouTube rabbit hole with him that I'm not going to get into here, but I had some fun reading about a guy called Renato Zero, who is he's the Cliff Richard of Italy, as in the only guy to have had reached the top of the Italian charts in 6 different decades. So if you want some fun Italian knowledge, go and check him out. So with this song, I felt like it was a very similar type of song to last year, where it's like, okay, I see what you're doing here. You're putting a handsome man with a strong voice, and you're trying to present a slow song that kind of builds in a certain way that's meant to make you feel all emotional. But it just, it did not move me at all. I did enjoy some of the lyrics. We're a book on the floor in an empty house without an answer, and we fucked up for another night outside a club, and thank goodness.
Yeah, I put it down. Battered, black shirt. No, thank you. I put down at first, although this may go down with the judges before I then found out it's a public vote. So in that case, he's got to do one hell of a performance to get through, because I have not made it to the end of the song yet.
Really?
It's so dull. It's so dull.
Wow. Yeah, no, yeah, okay. When I saw that on your list, I wasn't sure. I was like, this could go either way. This could go either way. Fran might appreciate a handsome man in a black shirt.
I liked the Swiss one last year, which is about it. But that had a bit more melodrama to it. It was a bit more theatrical. And this has a great last 10 seconds. It's not for me.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're missing much.
So yeah, let's hope he can pull something out of the bag for Italy. But the stats say 9th.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
did I mention Poland?
Oh no, I don't think you did. Go ahead. Like, if Poland makes it through, I will be very surprised.
Yeah, Poland is 27th, so that means it won't be in the final.
Let's see. But Italy, what is 9th? Okay.
Yeah, so I reckon Italy will be in the final. So you get to see it twice. Yay!
Joy of choice.
Underrated.
So my underrated pick is Austria with Who the Hell is Edgar? And yes, it does start off with a fucking annoying valley girl. Who the hell is Edgar? Obviously, I can't do it. Oh no, this isn't a good start. And at first, I wasn't loving it because it's a bit too. It's got like a catchy, repetitive chorus when it goes pull, 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 pull. And I thought, okay, we're in your way pop territory. And then after a couple of listens, it grew on me. And the music video is very good. This is one of the ones when I've not seen them do it live. And it'd be interesting to see how they can pull this off, because it kind of is semi-rap, semi-spoken word with a mix of with some harmonies near the end. If people jump on board with dance routines, it may do well. But if you do dive into the lyrics, it's quite interesting. So she wrote down that she's a songwriter and struggles to make any money. So when I say 003, it's on about the royalties from Spotify. And how, she would need to have Edgar Allan Poe to help her write even the song to make her any money, because at the moment she can only afford, to barely even buy dinner. So it's quite an interesting thing to do on Eurovision. And she says she doesn't mind if people don't even notice that. If they think it's a fun song about Edgar Allan Poe, that's still fun. So yeah, I think it's at first I thought annoying. After 3 or 4 times, I actually really like it. And they're also they're really nice ladies too. I've heard them being interviewed. So I'm on board Austria this year.
Yes, I'm also on board Austria, and I'm really glad you picked this one. And I was hoping that it was for underrated, because this almost made the cut for me. I think it's a synth banger. I think it's really funny. you know, the fact that we're talking about Edgar Allan Poe being in a Eurovision song, who would have thought? Especially two ladies from Austria. So I think the music video is fantastic, especially like all the little Edgar Allan Poe references that you can see in the background, like titles of his books and little images of him as well. It's really amusing. I also find their story quite interesting because they were both on this Austrian talent show called Starmania and met there and got on. And this song was written in a songwriting camp that they both went on in the Czech Republic. So, you know, Europe bringing people together like this, and they have a natural chemistry. I didn't see, obviously I saw the music video, but I did see a live performance of theirs because there's this kind of pre-ESC party in Barcelona, and it was just the two of them, and it was much stronger than I thought it would be, given that it was just the two of them, because I thought, okay, this is very funny and this is a good song, but I think what will elevate this a million times is the staging. So I am extremely curious to see what they do. I wonder if they'll have dance routines, at least where they're dancing, because they are singer-songwriters, right? I don't know if they can dance, but if they can have if they can have a guy dressed up as Edgar Allan Poe on a typewriter, I think it could be really funny.
Or in a video, the old guy who starts dancing. If they have if they have maybe start in an office like in a music video, but on stage, that could work. So I think good things, and you know, it's 8th favourite, so hopefully we'll get to the final.
Good, because I think it was my friend Riku who was like, "Oh, the Austrian one's really annoying," and then I heard it and I was like, "This is iconic behaviour. What are you talking about?"
I think I've seen some people hear that Valley that Valley accent. It cringes us, but it goes past like quite fast.
Okay.
So what's your next pick?
So my next pick, an underrated one that's not on your list, I will pick. Don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but Soarele si Luna from Pasha Perfeni. So that's the Moldovan entry, and I don't know if you checked out his previous entry for Moldova in 2012. No. It is very different. So in this video, it's like, you know, folk. He's like a hippie guy with long hair. There's a lot of kind of earth imagery, women with what's it called, stag horns, very yellow jackets, if you're watching that TV show at the moment. The song from 2012, it's him with short hair, and his backing dancers are like 5 sexy ladies in cocktail dresses. So I like, I couldn't.
How old is he then? Because I thought he looked quite young.
Oh, well, it was 10 years ago when he performed. So he looks pretty young and jockey in that one. But this one, you know, of course, it's following the electro folk Eurovision tropes. There are some big drums. There's a shepherd's pipe, a sultry man, and some synth, but I absolutely love it. Like, this is exactly my kind of Eurovision. And again, you go in deep when you look at the meanings, because it's referencing a folk ballad about a Moldovan shepherd who is given the vision of his death by the hands of 2 other shepherds. He sends a message out for his family to say he's married a princess, to explain why he has gone, to spare them the sorrow of his death. And something about like needing godparents. The sun and the moon are going to be his godparents instead. And apparently the flute that's in the song is a shepherd's flute in Moldova. I lap up that shit. So very much my kind of thing. Wonder if it's yours.
Well, the Moldovan word is a kaval, is the name of the flute.
Ah, wow. Look who did the research. Wow.
Yeah, I think for me this works for maybe 30 seconds, and then it doesn't really change much after that. It's once you've heard the first 30 seconds, you've kind of heard the song. There's not a lot of singing. Some of the best singing is from the backing singers.
The backing singers are very strong. Very strong. But do you not like a big drum?
I don't mind a big drum. I'm not a big fan of the what word does it keep saying? Hey, or something. My Moldovan is not as good as it used to be.
No.
But yeah. I mean, last year they had like a fun folky song in Moldova, and we've got a fun folk song. So
I think Moldova and one of my other underrated picks, they are the dark horses of Eurovision. I think they consistently put forward good music, and they are the poorest country in Europe. So I think it's really impressive what creativity they bring every year.
And they reckon it will be the 20th, so they reckon we'll get to the final at least.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, there are a few folkies, so it depends how people feel on the night and which ones they're grouped with.
So yeah, I wouldn't say a slay or an A.
You'd say
just a hey. Hey.
Overrated.
I'm going to go down to Norway and say that Norway Queen of Kings, Alessandra. And so this is very, very Eurovision. We have the big theatrics, the big sounding synth pop, big vocals. It's on paper, perfect Eurovision. But that chorus is fucking dreadful. Fucking dreadful. And it's instantly right on my bad list. And I've watched it perform live, and she's a great singer. But it's just someone's done a shit, polished it, covered it in glitter, and I'm not going to swallow that shit. No, thank you very much. So the judges think it will become fifth. You're welcome. But it's a nay.
Oh, Fran, I could not agree with you more. Nay, nay, nay. And I was worried because I know how much you love your Scandinavians. So when I saw that on the list, I was like, oh no, is he enthralled by the Queen of Kings? Yeah, I've written that this is 1000% Eurovision by numbers. She's a queen. She mentions Northern Lights. There's the violin, Alexander Rybak from Norway, famously. She sings a high-pitched note for absolutely no reason, does some la-di-da-di-das. But, people fucking love this song.
Yep.
And that performance has 5.5 million views. I saw a comment from a Portuguese man called João Gonçalves saying she's going to be the queen of Eurovision. I love Portugal, but Alessandra, she is the queen this year. I saw someone else write, I am a metalhead, but I will be voting for it this year. Are you kidding me? Given some of the other entries. And if you're going to pick a pop song, this one, nonsense. Oh.
I think she might be Italian heritage, because she says
she's half Italian.
Yeah, she says she's done a version in Italian as well.
Oh, okay. I wonder if that would sound better.
Well, we may hear it.
Oh, God.
When it wins, we'll hear all the different versions.
No.
Again and again and again. So what's your next shit song?
Okay, my next shit song.
Let's be polite. Next overrated.
Okay,
choice.
This one, I wonder if it's going to be on which one? Azerbaijan.
Okay.
Tell Me More by Tural Turan X. So these guys are twin brothers, and they've done a sort of, let's say, indie folky 90s rock song. And when I was listening to it, I sent Fran a voice message being like, Fran, this reminds me of a song that I don't know. I had to sing it down to you, and we established that it reminds me of Slight Return by the Blue Tones, as well as Kiss Me by Sixpence on the Ridge.
Definitely that, yeah.
So the reason I picked it as overrated, in a way, maybe objectively there are worse songs than this, but this is just such a rip-off. It's such a rip-off of 90s music. It's such a rip-off of indie songs. Okay, there's a bit of a rap, and it's maybe a bit more pop, but I was like, if you're going to bring something that isn't pop to Eurovision, don't let it be something that sounds like songs from 30 years ago so blatantly and obviously.
It hurt me that people were comparing this to the Beatles and indie, because to me,
what?
It's a pop song with a bit of guitar. It doesn't mean it's the Smiths. If we're going, it's a bit Beatles-esque. Yeah, when Ringo started rapping. Yeah.
Yellow Submarine, yo.
Yeah, when you see a teen, a song in a teen TV show in the 90s. It sounds like that, when it's it's okay, but in the TV show, it's the best song ever, and it sounds like.
So is this in your overrated list?
Yeah, it's a shit. Yeah.
Oh, I'm amazed. I didn't know. I never.
Oh, really? No, it's so weak, and I cannot imagine this getting to the final because it's just too. I don't know. It's not. There's no controversy. I think people just forget about it instantly, and to make it worse, do you know what song is before this on the list?
No.
Sweden. So no one's gonna fucking want to follow that, and these guys do, and it's the 32nd on the list, so people think it's not got a chance.
I mean, they seem lovely, and what was quite depressing was so I went on everyone's kind of Wikipedia pages, the only thing that's in their personal life is they're twin brothers, and two of their brothers died in a car crash, and it's Jesus Christ, I hope. I think if you're a young person and you don't know the music that we're referencing, the 90s music and stuff like that, this is maybe a nice gateway. So I don't wish them ill, but I just think for Eurovision, it's just not good enough.
Underrated.
Moving on to a song I like. So I will choose Latvia with the band Southern Lights, and I think it's Aja, the song.
Aya.
And like the Lithuanian, this is a dual language, so they have a lullaby sung in Latvian, which is Aya. I hate my voice.
We've listened to the song and we can't remember. It's not good.
Speaking of indie, I guess this is the closest thing to a modern day indie pop song.
I would agree.
I can imagine, maybe Glass Animals or remember Aqualung?
Yes, I do remember Aqualung.
Yeah, it's about Aqualung. Again, it's not stand out. It took me a couple of times for it to settle with me. I think, unfortunately, it won't be remarkable enough to qualify, and I think a lot of these bands struggle because when they do perform live, the band can't play really, they mime. And I think, and I've heard it now live as a band, and it's a lot better live. And I think that it's sad that they won't let the live musicians actually play, because I think it does emphasize the music a bit more. So, and this is literally the 35th, so that people are not giving us a chance to get through.
No, really?
I know. So Latvia twice in a row, 2 good songs. They reckon might get to the final. What are your thoughts?
I think this one was one that went from my middle playlist on first listen to up the charts on another listen, because again, it is not a straightforward song. I think when I first listened to it, I really loved the beginning with the beats and the guitar, and I especially like the "Please Don't Make Me" section. I think the chorus lets it down a little bit. On second listen, I got into it more. But
the ending's nice as well.
The ending is fantastic. And I think it's the best percussion time signature mix. It's not 4/4. It's much more complicated. And yeah, I loved reading about how like the word, however you pronounce it, sorry Latvia, is what you call the process of swinging your baby to sleep in your arms. According to the band, it's meant to calm all of us during these difficult times and soothe anxiety. And they even said, this song has got a deep meaning and is written in English to give words of comfort to more people. Witnessing the dark events in the world and people's lives ruined by evil, we cannot remain indifferent. Aww.
Good luck, Latvia.
So we like you, Latvia, but I don't know how many others.
So moving on to your next favourite song.
All right, Georgia, Echo by Iru, another voice participant. And ironically, I think the song that won it for her was her doing a version of Euphoria by Loreen. So that did make me laugh.
Full circle.
Full circle. Did you also see the videos of Mae Muller, the British entry, losing her mind when she met Loreen?
No, nothing.
Like she saw Loreen in this and she's just like, oh.
Guys, I should make a confession. The first time I heard Euphoria was an hour ago.
No.
And I had no recollection of it at all. That's how much I like Eurovision in 2012.
Okay. Wow, we're gonna come back to this.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank God that we're coming back to. Oh my God, yeah. Wow, shooketh, as again the kids say. So back to Georgia. So I wondered if you'd be surprised that I would put something so balladesque in my top 5. It starts really hard, and then it slows down. But I like how atmospheric it is. I like the auto tune. I like the Chagadaranda. What's going on? I was like, I shouldn't like this, but I do. And then I was like, I'll bet you like seeing a live performance will kind of make it worse for me. But I saw her in one of those pre-party things, just her by herself, and she has such a strong voice and such a strong presence that it kind of elevated it for me. And I think, again, like with some good staging, this could be very, very strong. She's very powerful. And according to her, it's about love and listening to the inner voice.
We should all listen to your inner voice.
Not too much, though.
Apart from mine tells me to kill myself. I'm not too dark.
Please keep that. I say not too much, and you go, I want to top myself. I mean, that is the theme of there's a lot of mental health themes in this Eurovision.
The bookies think this will be the 16th, so they think we'll get to the final, but won't do too well. I think this has been in and out of my top 10, but I do find the Shimbaraga a little bit irritating, and I watched this acoustic and she goes a bit riffy with it, and I do not enjoy her riffing on that.
Okay.
It's slightly of a I'm talking about the video, so the original versions maybe slightly overproduced. I enjoy the percussion and the sirens and the backing track. I've not heard her do it live normally, like with the full thing. I think it's fine.
I would say go and listen to her just doing it alone, because that's what swayed it for me.
Speaking of countries who deal with folk, Ukraine is the curveball, isn't it, this year?
Yeah. And
it's like R&B almost.
Well, yeah, they met. It's 2 guys who met studying in Ukraine, but one of them isn't Ukrainian.
Okay.
I don't know what nationality he is, but let's look this up.
Because they are so.
Fortune.
So how does it work if you're the previous winner? Do you get to the final, or do we have to qualify still?
No, they automatically qualify.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so he's Nigerian. the other guy. And they met while students at the Faculty of Pharmacy at the Ternopil National Medical University in Western Ukraine.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, that Ukraine's one of the favourites still, which I'm surprised because I think the song's not great.
I've thought it was an absolutely fine electropop soul song. But what was incredible, but I didn't have time to fact check, I saw the kind of live performance of it, and apparently it was in a subway station because obviously Ukraine's in war, but it looks like this very polished live thing with lots of there's some great visuals on it. And someone was commenting about it being in a subway station. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like that elevates it completely because to be doing this. I think it's amazing what Ukraine are doing despite the circumstances.
Yeah, I don't think any of our songs mention the war, but obviously Croatia is a complete satire on Russia. It's quite brave them to do that. But yeah, and I think a couple of people have mentioned, this is are pro Ukraine. I think it's
but they can't be too, because they will get, you remember that case of like the band that said we don't want to put in, and then they had to change the lyrics because it felt that it was pretty obvious about Putin. We don't want Putin.
And isn't the Czech one basically them talking about Ukraine, their sister?
Well, they're talking about sisters, which is not too dissimilar from Stefania, but yeah. And actually, we didn't talk about this, but Verka Serduchka, who we briefly mentioned on a previous podcast, the song Lasha Tumbai was her big song, the Ukrainian drag queen. Apparently, that is meant to be code for Russia goodbye, because if you say it quickly, Lasha Tumbai, like with a R, and that's how they snuck it in. So, yeah, history of anti-Russian coded messages in Eurovision.
Hello, so I have just listened to the Spanish Eurovision Song Contest entry of EA, or EA in English, and I think it's fantastic. It's really different from previous years because it is the traditional flamenco music and the traditional flamenco singing. I mean, when it first started, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in Morocco. I really, really enjoyed it. I really hope that it kind of goes a long way in the competition, but you just never know what will happen with these songs. So yeah, my verdict is a big thumbs up. Anyway, I think it's great, and it's really different. So yeah, go for Spain.
Hi, this is Shane from the podcast Mixtaping Identity. So as a Northern Irishman, I have split allegiances between the UK and Ireland. So I have a choice between the UK, which has produced a song about writing a song, which is one of my least favourite musical tropes, but it's actually a decent tune from the UK. And it somehow has more substance than Ireland, which is a song about nothing, absolutely nothing. Especially where English is your first language, no excuse. My least favourite song this year is from Poland, Solo, which is the most mass-produced, lukewarm pop song you can imagine. And there's no good video to watch if you want to get a taste for that song. You either watch the live performance from Poland's competition where she can't sing, or the music video, which has this main character fake laughing for a voice note energy. It's actually quite unsettling and weird. It's very, very bad. On a positive side, I love France, I love the Czech Republic, but my favourite is Austria's Who the Hell is Edgar by Tena and Selena. Very fun, very campy, very silly, but it doesn't fall quite into that lol so random category that so many Eurovision entries do these days. So that's my pick for sure. It's an absolute tune.
So my name is Eva, and I'm going to speak about the French and Serbian Eurovision song for this year. I'll start with France. This song from the artist La Sara, the song is called Évidemment. So it's no exception to the long tradition of French terrible Eurovision songs, I'm sorry to say. But most of the songs are really bad, I feel, or very strange. And this song is not an exception to that. It's a weird mix between Dita Von Teese and Edith Piaf, in a strange techno way. It feels a bit old-fashioned, and the there is no choreography around it, and it's not very fun, and I don't understand the lyrics. I think at the end she speaks about France, and it looks like very classic old-fashioned promotion of France abroad, like French interest abroad, so I don't know, it doesn't feel very dancey and cool and fun, and there is no message behind it. But on the contrary, the Serbian song from Luke Black is really cool. I actually started to be interested in Eurovision last year with the Serbian artist who sang last year. She was really great. She had this really strong political message and this cool choreography. And it looks after that, it's great that he's mixing both Serbian and English. And he has this like super strange gothic aesthetic with, I don't know, displaying a different vision of masculinity and just speaking in some ways about the depression that he faced during COVID and having a great performance. So I don't know, it just made me want to listen to that song several times.
Underrated.
Okay, so Shock Attack. It's a Scandinavian song I like. I hated Norway, but I do like Finland. Although I will admit, it took a while again to sink in because this is gonna. I think. Well, for bookies, think it's the second favourite, which I'm surprised with because I thought this might upset a few people because he's kind of it's a bit like shouty. It's kind of shouty pop, but then after maybe a minute and a half, there's that catchy pop hook, which is gonna win it, I think, definitely. So the guy is wearing, is it like a ballroom dancer costume?
Like a modified top. The song is called Cha Cha Cha.
It's a bit Priscilla Queen of the Desert kind of vibe. He's a bit in your face. He's licking the camera and all sorts of stuff happening. The song's about him having anxiety until he has a few drinks and then he's a party man.
Which is very Finnish.
Yeah. I think he looks like Abs from 5 mixed with Psy, the Gangnam Style dancing. It's very visual, which I think is what it'll do well because I think the public votes. I think people will love or hate it, and I think there'll be enough people to love it to go through to the final. I didn't think it would be the second favourite. I thought it might be a bit too much, but hey, we shall see.
So obviously, I knew about some of the people participating.
Have we haven't said his name yet, have we?
It's I asked my Finnish friend. It's Kari.
Kari Cha Cha Cha.
Cha Cha Cha. So following all the meme accounts that I do, even not having listened to the songs, I saw this man's face a lot. So I was like, oh, okay, the Finnish guy that they keep talking about and putting in memes is going to be something special. But actually, Fran, I will confess to you that I heard this before preparing for the podcast because I went away for the weekend, including with my Finnish friend Riku, and he was like, the Finnish entry is really good. So the first time I heard the song was with the music video, and I was like, well, this is fucking great. And loved it immediately. So I was like, oh, it's that guy. But I think he looks like Tommy Cash. Like, he looks exactly like Tommy Cash, whose video I sent you beforehand. And when I told my friends this, I then showed them a few Tommy Cash videos. And guys, Tommy Cash is a genius, but a fucking weirdo. Like, he's got the John Waters moustache thing going on. It's a bit kind of de-ant ward in terms of like disgusting imagery sometimes. But I think if you like Kari, you might also like that too. I think this is great. This is Rammstein meets Eurotrash meets drum and bass. And here it works amazingly. The fact that he's singing only in Finnish as well.
Is that unusual for Finland?
That is very unusual for Finland. And I mean, Finnish is, famously not an easy language, but it kind of doesn't matter because the beats are so hard. You barely notice. Like, I didn't even notice that he was singing about pina coladas as much as he is. Like, he says pina colada, but I can't hear it.
Because it goes hey.
No, I think it's more. No. That the chorus is holding on the drinks with both hands tied on them like a cha cha cha. There's no tomorrow when I grab a pint tightly like a cha cha cha. No, it's in the verses when he says, this exhausting week and the many long days are behind. There's only bar and pina colada on my mind. And then later on he says, I stay on this seat until I have to climb off it like a couple of pina coladas I have devoured. And I was like, okay.
He is slaying. He is slaying those drinks.
He slays. If you saw the Eurovision being chaotic, there's a video with him with Bojan, and he's just having like a little heart to heart, and he's like, "This is my boyfriend." This is my boyfriend. This is my best friend Justin Bieber. We're sharing a hotel room, only one bed. Like it's sort of charm. Like, I am delighted that he's doing well. I think Sweden will win it, but I think Finland might come second, and that's really good for me.
I feel a bit sorry for Denmark because the top 5 entries are Finland, Sweden, and Norway. Yeah, Denmark are even going to qualify according to the betting. And that happened last year as well. So yeah, why are they slipping down the Scandinavian pop charts so badly?
But Denmark, like, I know that you liked the song last year, but I didn't. And I think you also liked the song before. And
no. There's two guys. No, the show was good, but what year before was those 2 guys? It's fucking shit.
Oh right, okay, you didn't.
No,
like
the
that, okay.
band, the show was fine, but the year before that was terrible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what it is with the Danish.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Riku, and I'm from Finland. Looks like that's all the qualification I need to give you some thoughts on my country's Eurovision entry this year. Whether you think it glorifies binging or acts as an anti-drinking anthem, one thing has to be said for Jere Pöyhönen, or Garria, and his song Cha Cha Cha. It gets people talking. The song has become a bit of an ode to those living with anxiety, and to me the self-deprecating humor and the amazing delivery results in a surprisingly relatable critique of Finland's toxic drinking culture. The two-part song moves from angsty and aggressive techno metal to let go of your inhibitions dance pop, which in my book makes the song one of the most interesting entries in this year's Eurovision, and actually the best entry Finland has sent to the competition in years. Be sure to also listen to Miguel Peltoma's sign language rendition of the song at the UMK finals. It's amazing. And give a listen to Electric Callboy, the band that Garria was accused of plagiarizing for this song. But whatever you do, make sure to let loose when Garria is on stage in Liverpool. Hyvää Suomi.
So moving on to so for me, Finland, just to say, was also underrated, was also on my list. So my last underrated one is Serbia.
So how many have we agreed? There's quite a few, isn't it, for us?
We've agreed, but I know now we're not going to agree on the final one. So yeah, here we go. So Luke Black with Samo Mises Bava. I think this is my favorite song of the competition. So I was surprised to see that it wasn't on your list. So I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. So Luke Black, real name Luka Ivanovic, such a goth. He said that he anglicized his name to be Luke because he actually lives in London, where he works as a graphic designer for a record company. But he said that Black originates from when, as a teenager, he expressed 40 days of mourning for the death of the Serbian music scene. I was like, oh, that's so funny. You can just imagine being.
What year was that? What year did it die?
When he was a teenager, right? He seems like a young guy. So 10 years ago, who knows?
R.I.P. Serbian music.
R.I.P. Well, or is it back? Because like I said, with the Serbian entry, when I first heard this, I was like, well, this is sounding very much like Konstraka from last year, the hand washing. But yeah, I love this from the beginning. There's this dark piano with synths. I wrote before going on YouTube that this is 9 Inch Nails meets modern pop, but someone on YouTube says this is like a 90s video game soundtrack written by 9 Inch Nails on a day where they were feeling extra spicy. I love the atmosphere, the synths, the percussion, how his voice intersperses with it, because he's very versatile. Sometimes he's whispering, sometimes he's singing. And then when I saw the staging, I was like, this is phenomenal staging, because it's like he's in a computer game. And the song has lots of computer game references that I didn't realize, hello, game over, and choose your fighter kind of thing. And again, very gothy lyrics, war, there's a famine, no hope. I'm just sleeping as the world burns. It burns, it's the end. Darkness goes on. The reason is sleeping as the world burns. I just thought tick, 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 beautiful guy. Beautiful staging, great song.
Yeah, so I don't know. So I enjoy parts of it. So yeah, it's a bit confusing. I guess it starts off with hello. Was it hi? Is it hello?
Hello, game over.
Hello, game over. And it's a bit creepy. It's a bit multi-dimensional.
That's what I liked.
He wrote it in quarantine, which is why it's so nihilist.
Okay.
But yeah, obviously it's got a great keyboard riff to it. Although his vocals live were a little bit whiny. It doesn't have that big chorus or that oomph that some pop songs need. But I think you're correct with the staging. I think will help them quite a lot. It's 17th, so people think that it gets through.
It's too low.
It's sexy. It's sexy, isn't it?
It's very sexy. I found out he was gay earlier today, and I was like, oh, really? I have no chance. What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah, it's sexy, stylists. But I don't know. I think the actual song, I don't know how well it will work in the semi-final for hearing it the first time. I think you may need a few listens for it. But yeah, I think it does miss that oomph, which it may need. But good luck.
I mean, I guess the oomph is coming from the synths rather than the vocals, which is what usually, because it's the piano and the down that really make the song.
Although I think people do forget it is called the song contest. This isn't a voice. A lot of people are on about the voice, aren't they? The whole time. I think it is a song, guys.
But it is amazing how much staging improves the song. Like, we didn't even mention it, but the cha-cha ballroom dancers in the Finnish one are brilliant. Like that is part of it, that he has these very polished looking, to the point where their teeth are like white in a way that's obviously not natural. And they're doing like proper cha-cha-cha moves, but you can tell that it's like as if they're being controlled, or it's really fucking weird. And it's like the cherry on the cake, you know. Already, if there's a good song and a good voice, the staging, it does make it better.
Are there any songs which you would maybe put in your best songs of the year, or to be songs just fun to be heard in the universe of Eurovision?
Well, I mean, Serbia and Finland are my favorites, I think. And
Can you imagine a year later listening to them?
Yeah. I still listen to Blind Channel from Finland last year. Put your middle fingers up to the top. I had a little deep dive to them. So I think, but I do think they're the only ones. Whereas last year, I was listening to Construct, I was listening to Ukraine, I was listening to more people. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard Sam White enough times over the past year, regardless of me wanting to or not. But I think, the Cyprus entry was in my official top 50 of last year.
Which one, sorry?
The Greece entry.
Greece entry, yeah.
Okay, I'm about to check out Loreen Tattoo, Sweden's official thing for Eurovision 2023. I like the chord progression in this one. It's very positive and upbeat and energetic, so I actually got chills from listening to this one. What would I give it out of a 10? I mean, personally, I will not be going back and listening to it again, but that's just because it's not really my type of music, I guess. But it's a really, really good song in this context. Definitely above an 8 out of 10. You know, judging it for what it is. You know, it's not a Nick Drake 8, but it's a Eurovision 8, if you know what I mean. So yeah, definitely a great song, and good luck to her.
So for me, so my final entry is going to be fun, isn't it? Because it's in my top 5 and your bottom 5. Dun, dun, dun. And who'd have thought that it would be the favourite of Sweden? So for me, this is my first time
Right, we need to lay this out, because one of the reasons for me it's underrated.
Okay.
So I would just say, I remember Euphoria very well, and I think Euphoria is a great song. Fran?
I had never heard Euphoria until today.
You have not been to enough gay clubs.
It is EDM. She's got a great voice, and so watching this, I mean, she's like the Pete Sampras. That's a reference. I don't know if you like tennis, like the all-rounder. So she is the perfect Eurovision robot. Yes. You know, she can sing, she can dance, she can go, she can go.
She's very funny as well. Like you can tell she's got charisma. Yeah,
she's cool. So so she is like your perfect robot to destroy Eurovision or win it. Do you know what I mean? She's that person. It's got that obvious high quality Swedish pop song production they keep doing again and again and again. It's an out and out favourite. I think it's a 45% chance of winning. So
I would be surprised if it didn't win.
I can't see an upset personally. I've heard the song done a lot, but if I'm going for how well she can sing and how well she can perform and the whole package, it's decent. I think maybe last year this may have not made it into my top 5. I think the only song I actually think I might listen to more than after the Eurovision ends is maybe the Lithuanian one, because it's quite a beautiful song.
Think you're going to watch some songs twice more. I think that does change things. Like, I love the Finnish one last year before watching it, and then watching it with my friends and singing along to it, it just kind of solidified it in the canon a bit more. So you don't know, your mind might change.
So you're saying that for you this is Euphoria light.
So this is, I feel like, my very controversial opinion, right? Because I know Loreen very well. More than anyone, I saw the memes of the staging. I don't know if you know about the whole, like, they don't know if they can replicate the staging in Liverpool because that top light might be too heavy. That was a whole conversation.
Horizontal sort of start, isn't it?
Yeah. Because, she's kind of lying down as if being pressed by 2 blocks, and then one kind of rises very slowly. So I was like, this is Loreen. Euphoria is such a great song. Everyone's banging on about the staging. Everyone's banging on about how great it's going to be. And then I heard the song and I was like, what? Like, is this it? Are you kidding me? Because I've talked to some people and they're like, oh yeah, well, it's Euphoria Part 2. No, like, Euphoria is a much, 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 much superior song. Like, Euphoria is immediately catchy. I've heard this song now 3 times. I cannot remember it. And there were some that I heard less and it stuck in my head. Like, obviously I can't deny the good production and her voice. But I found the song so boring, and I found the staging so boring. I was like, I thought something was going to happen because they kept going on about. So I think the reason why this is in my overrated is because of expectations, right? Because it's Loreen, because I know Euphoria. Like, there are probably objectively worse songs, but I just cannot believe how hyped this is being and how much of a landslide it's going to be with, in my view, such a shit song.
Well, I mean, usually the favourite is never my favourite out of the list, so, you know, that's fine. That's yeah, so like I said, this is my first time, so, you know.
Did you prefer Euphoria to this or not?
Yeah. Euphoria sounds like
Euphoria, like already it's just like
But this does have quite a decent opening synth riff on this track.
Yeah,
listen again.
Sure.
But yeah, her vocal for Tattoo, I can't even hear her say Tattoo. It sounds like she's saying something else.
No, she does.
Yeah, that sort of. But is that just her showing off how great she can do high pitch?
You know what? I thought she sounded a bit breathy in the live version as well,
but she's moving quite a lot, though. Maybe, you know.
Yeah. I mean, come on, mate. Like, come on, you're Loreen. Like, you seem like a great person. Like, in that Eurovision being chaotic moment, someone comes up behind her when she's being interviewed, and she just ululates, and she goes like, and it's like, okay, you are mad, and I like you. So,
does she have any other songs apart from? Has it been literally Euphoria? Nothing.
I think she does. She does, but not that I've bothered to listen to.
Yeah, I saw it had Euphoria had like 120 million views.
Yeah. I mean, Euphoria, I think, if there was a kind of like, what is the best winner of Eurovision of all time, I think it would come in the top 5.
Wow. So what was I doing in 2012? And I have no recollection.
What are you doing in 2012? What were you the Olympics just clouding your mind so much that you're like, I can't handle the Eurovision?
I'm so excited waiting for the cycle racing in the Olympics. I couldn't. Yeah. Well, I was in my 30s then, you know, young, out having fun.
Are you saying this isn't fun? How dare you?
But yeah, we've completed our playlist, but let's talk about maybe our home countries.
So I think I have seen the Belgium act live, Gustav, because he did a few songs with Hercules and Love Affair, who I saw in Antwerp. And I mentioned that the Lithuania song, my mind was changed very much by the staging, and the Belgian one as well, I have to say, because similarly to the Azerbaijani entry at the beginning, I was like, well, this is a rip-off of kind of 90s dance music. You asked me, like, what does the Belgian song remind you of? And I said, Show Me Love by Robin S., you know, one of those classics. I also think it's a song that kind of is a bit let down by the chorus, and I don't quite like how he's used the gospel choir. But when I saw the live performance, I think it was like a mix of the visuals and the great backing singers that he does have. It kind of pumped me up enough to have a party. So I don't think it will do well, personally. But
31st, so then I can get to the final.
But I enjoyed the YouTube comment which said, just add 2 more backup singers and turn the stage into a 90s party, and then you'll have a great performance.
The bottom track is Romania, and that was in my bottom 5 for a while.
Yeah, Romania. Did you see the staging of Romania?
No, I think I never heard it.
Well, I would say, well, treat yourself, because there's some ladies in lingerie, but yeah.
I'll wait till the semi-final.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, UK maybe next?
Yeah, so I saw May Muller at my first festival post-lockdown in Camp Festival, and I'd never heard of her. I think she performed just after S Club 2, and she was like a fun pop R&B kind of singer. So when he announced her to do in the UK, it was like, oh, okay, because she doesn't have much, you know, chart success. But then again, I think UK, like Sound Wider, they kind of like to say introducing this new person kind of thing. You know, we haven't had. I think they tried to do the Legends for a while and it didn't work, did it? With Upadink, Humperdink.
Hang about Humperdink and Body Tally.
And Body Tally, that didn't work for us. So they've gone for brand new talent, but the song is almost Cheeky Girls-esque in awful. And I played that I work with some younger people who are in their late 20s, early 30s, thinking that they might like it, and they went, oh, this is shit. I was like, wow, if you don't like it, this is not going to go far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, it's a shit song after our success of last year, although it's still the 10th favourite, but I guess we've got home advantage. But yeah, it's, for me, no thank you.
I didn't mind it. Like, I don't think it stands out enough to do particularly well. I'm surprised that it's so high. But yeah, when I first heard it, I thought this would have been a song put forward by a Central or Eastern European nation rather than the UK. And when I saw her live performance, she did not sound very much in tune, but apparently she had a cold. So hopefully, she's doing better. I wish her luck. She has a very charming social media presence from what I've seen. She seems like a nice person. And they are saying that she's kind of channeling the Brooke Scullion from last year, the Irish lady, who, by the way, did not make it to the final. I checked. But yeah.
Out of her own stuff, she's got some better songs than this because
okay.
I quite enjoyed the live, but hey.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you doing Portugal?
Okay, yeah, of course I'm going to do Portugal.
I can't even remember Portugal.
So, Portugal, I have to say, was edging towards my overrated. I was going to say In My Heart, which is ironic because the song is called Oh My Heart. I could have sung. I wrote, whatever this is not my genre. It was the woman with the frizzy blonde hair and the kind of corset dress.
With
exactly. With the ball again, like I said, the ballroom dancers. I thought it was fine. I thought, it was again elevated by the staging because there's a lot going on in the dances and stuff. But I didn't watch Festival de Canção. I have not heard the other entries, but I can imagine that there are better ones than this. Sorry, Mimi Cat.
Well, 24th on that. Also, I reckon it'll just get into the final.
Just about.
Hi, my name is Sara. I'm an artist, also known as Hello the Mushroom. I'm from Portugal originally, and I don't usually tend to like the Portuguese entry so much. I personally don't like when it gets too earnest or too serious, and for that reason, if the songs are cheesy or fun, they're my favorites. But this year seems to be quite amusing, so we'll see how that song goes. Bye!
So, Germany, what did you think? The blood and glitter.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately for them, we've kind of seen this being done. Germany should have done it 20 years ago. It's too late, I think, for Germany. But
that's also a song that I wrote Rammstein for.
Yeah.
I would say watch the music video just for his incredible one-legged catsuit.
I wish that his voice was a bit more metal, because his voice is a bit too clean.
Oh, a little.
But it's a bit too clean for me, do you know what I mean? Like, he needs to have a bit more oomph to it.
I thought that might be on your shortlist. But yeah, I would say that Germany and Czechia almost made my list. But again, the Czechia one live was a little bit... intrigued to see what happens on the day. And I would say that Estonia and Armenia produced some decent ballads. I couldn't believe my ears.
Estonia I quite enjoyed.
Could not believe my ears. Like, normally there's about 3 ballads where I'm pulling my hair out. And I think Greece almost made my overrated, because that was the guy who I said you sounded like the Josh Weller video of like 21 singer sounding like this, you can't understand, I'm toy. But that, I saw his lovely blue eyes in the music video, and I was swayed away. It was interesting enough. It was varied enough that I didn't put it in the list. But
looking at the top 10, the only 2 we've not mentioned are 2 songs I can't remember, and that's Spain.
Tell me.
Spain with Blanca Paloma, and oh yeah, I know it was Unicorn. Okay, that's quite catchy.
Right, yeah. So Spain, it's flamenco, but I've talked about how much I like flamenco, but I think this is flamenco light. I thought it was a bit overdone. And Israel Unicorn, it rips off Loreen, to be honest. Like, it rips off Euphoria Loreen, but I did enjoy the phenomenon section. But I am intrigued to see how it'll be staged. I can imagine it doing what. She's a very attractive woman. She's very, like, I don't know if you saw the music video, where she's on the ceiling, dancing and stuff. And there's a section which is like, I'm dancing, I think, and then she dances and she's pretty good. So, we didn't mention France, who were number 4 in the odds.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, once again, hating on the French.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
She's absolutely hilarious on social media. I thought it was Belgium, actually, at the beginning, because she rolls her R's in a very sort of Jacques Brel way. It turns out she's Canadian. It was one, again, where I enjoyed the beginning and thought it faltered, but then it gets quite funky once the chorus hits. And I'm really intrigued to see how it's staged, because she's quite a diva lady.
Hi, over underrated listeners. This is George, the Netherlands-based Brit from Series 5, Episode 4. It's time for Het Songfestival again, as the Dutch call it, and I've had a listen to the Dutch entry this year. It's called Burning Daylight by Mia Nicolai and Dion Cooper, and they're back to an English language entry this year. No more Dutch lyrics. So yeah, what do I think about this song? I mean, despite having two vocalists, a male and a female vocalist, which I know Babs is a particular fan of, I don't feel like the harmonies are actually particularly interesting or that they really make use of them. It has kind of Imagine Dragons vibe for me if they did Eurovision and kind of half-heartedly. And there was a story in the Dutch news actually that they had to change the pitch at which they were singing to be a tone and a half higher after two poor performances which they got a lot of criticism for. So that doesn't really bode well. Yeah, so all in all, without having listened to many of the other entries, this seems solidly mid to low table. I don't imagine anyone will be giving the Netherlands een toespraak this year.
We're now going to work out, you can play along at home, to the 5 songs or the 5 countries that won't make it through the first semi-final. And we have in the first half Croatia, Ireland, Latvia, Malta, Norway, Portugal and Serbia. And in the second half,
Azerbaijan, Czech Republic, Israel, Finland, Netherlands, Moldova, Sweden and Switzerland.
So who do you think is not going to go through?
So I think Ireland is not going to go through.
Agree.
I worry Portugal won't go through.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, depending on the odds. Croatia as well, maybe, because it depends how kind of shock rocky they're feeling. Netherlands, I thought, was dull.
Can't remember it.
The man, woman singing, dull. And Switzerland, if I remember correctly, was
Water Gun, I think it's called.
Water Gun, yeah. I thought this was Discount G John's Tears I've written. So, yeah, those would be my 5.
My 5, I don't think will go through, will be Ireland, Azerbaijan, Netherlands, Switzerland, because I can't fucking remember them. And I think, sadly, Latvia.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't think it stands out enough.
Maybe I'll swap Portugal for Azerbaijan, actually.
Yeah, well, since only bottom 5 list.
Yeah, exactly.
And to our second semi-final, in the first half we have Armenia, Belgium, Cyprus, Denmark, Estonia, Greece, Iceland and Romania.
And the second half we have Albania, Australia, Austria, Georgia, Lithuania, Poland, San Marino and Slovenia.
So who are your 5 to go? Oh, actually it should be 6 to go.
6 to go here. Iceland I thought was quite bland, but I think might still make it through. So I think San Marino won't make it through because I have a feeling they also didn't make it through last year, and it was a similar kind of.
Last year they had quite a good song. With some money behind it, but yeah.
I think Poland won't make it through. You know, Georgia and Lithuania being so close. I wonder. Albania, I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up. I loved Albania, actually. Albania was close. It was the one with the family singing the folk song, where if you saw the live performance, it was the whole family on stage with like an orchestra and they got very emotional. I love Albania, but I don't think it's going to make it through, unfortunately. What the odds are? Yeah, Albania's 36. I've just seen. So hang on. What
you said Iceland, San Marino.
No, but I think Iceland will make it. I think
Poland.
San Marino, Poland. I'm gonna say Georgia, despite liking it. I worry. I worry about Australia. I worry about Belgium. And Cyprus is another boring ballad. So Cyprus, if I remember correctly. So yeah, Cyprus. Those are my 6.
I will go for Cyprus. I can't remember it. I've written another Duncan Lawrence / G John Steers. Romania, Poland.
Oh yeah, Romania. Sorry. I will swap Georgia for Romania. Yeah.
Here else we go. San Marino, I think it's been done already. Slovenia and Albania.
What was Slovenia?
Exactly.
Oh, it's the indie song.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I think that people will enjoy Australia. I think they go through just because they're exciting to look at. I'm hoping that Lithuania go through.
I mean, this is not at all who I want to go through. This is who I think.
I think Lithuania go through. I'm hoping the 6 worst songs than Lithuania. I think they'll sneak through. But yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, yeah, will it be a landslide for Sweden?
I think so. Unfortunately, I think so. Although I guess at the moment, the people who are kind of like really into it are the Eurovision mega fans, right? And if I don't know, well, I was gonna say if we remember, you probably don't remember that Alexander Rybak from Norway, who won with an absolute landslide, then came back in 2018 and didn't do that well. But he hasn't got the cachet that the Reen does. So I feel that people, will probably still remember her as the Euphoria lady and probably will be swayed by the pop dulcet tones. Yeah, I think it depends how many weirdos are out there voting for the Finlands and for the Serbias. Come on, weirdos.
Although I did see a little bit of a backlash regarding her entering again. But it's not the first time it's happened, is it?
No.
Yeah,
I mean, as proved, we've talked loads about people who've participated in.
I guess previous winners. I know Cliff.
Alexander Rybak, Johnny Logan, who
I think people got short memories, but I did notice on YouTube there was some people saying, "Oh, she shouldn't be doing it again." But I don't think the backlash will be enough. But it will be an interesting watch, and I hope that some of the smaller nations do well, like we mentioned Estonia and Lithuania and Latvia. So
Georgia, Moldova for me, there were quite a few without the staging this time, so I'm really curious. I think Austria maybe I'm the most curious because
definitely.
But also a bit worried because I'm like, if it is just going to be the two of them, it's going to be good, but it's not going to be spectacular. And if you don't know the song, if it's the first time you listen to it, like, come get the typewriter out, girls, get the typewriters out for the lads.
I think Austria can afford to put on a production.
Yeah, so, come on, Austria, sort yourself out.
And so hopefully, guys, you've played along. Let us know who you think will win, who you hate, who will go through, and have a lovely Euro time, and don't forget to slay it.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen,
goodbye. So there we have it, our Eurovision special. I just want to give a shout out to two of our guest callers who didn't mention their name. So we had Georgette from the band Coast discussing Spain, and Daniel, our previous guest from the band Escobar, was discussing Sweden. We recorded this before the semi-finals, and this will be released on the day of the first semi-final, so some of our picks may not even make it to the final, which will be a sad time. Let us know what your favourite songs are, what your least favourite songs are, and you can follow us on the old social media if you haven't already. We are on Twitter at OUMusicPod, Instagram at overunderatedmusicpod, and of course we are on Gmail at overunderatedmusicpod@gmail.com. So enjoy the show on Saturday or whenever you get to see it, and au revoir, goodbye.